Well, if you're a stock trader, you'll know that last week was a pretty slow week. In fact, probably one of the slowest in the last year. The question is why and when will it end? Will next week be a better trading week? Well, I'm going to answer that question, but first let's talk about the why. There was this famous stock promoter back in the 80s, and he had this law. It was called the law of upticks. His name was Murray Pezim. And Murray Pezim used to argue that the reason people buy stocks is simply because they're going up, the law of upticks. You see, how people judge information is largely dependent upon their mood. And when markets are moving higher, investors are optimistic and they're more likely to buy on some news or some rumor, and then they're more likely to chase the stocks higher, making those upside moves even stronger. Well, what's been happening in the last couple of weeks? We've had dramatic sell-offs in gold and silver. We've had a bear market in Bitcoin for a few months and a really strong sell-off in Bitcoin last week. So those things are shaping investor psychology. They're making investors and traders pessimistic. Even though a speculative biotech stock has nothing to do with the price of gold or Bitcoin, the reality is the mood of the market, the mood of investors, is pretty negative because of those downdrafts in those markets. People that were making lots of money in those different hot markets are no longer doing so, and they're seeing their holdings go down in value. And the result is that they're just not that motivated to buy. And so we have to always keep Murray's law, the law of upticks, in mind, because it is shaping psychology. And I'm going to show you in a moment what is likely to happen next, because there is one chart that really has a strong correlation to how good the market is. But first, let's jump into the slides here. As I said, stock trading is obviously short-term focused. It's not really dependent upon company fundamentals. The moves up and down in the next day or days is driven by human emotion. Fear and greed are what drive short-term price volatility. Now, how people trade depends on their mood. And because we've had these crashes in speculative markets, gold, silver, and to some extent Bitcoin, it's really hurt trader confidence. The buyers are just not motivated by greed. Instead, they are driven by fear. Now let's take a look at some charts. Here is the chart of Bitcoin. And you can see that we've been trending lower for a few months, but we really took a sharp move lower the last 2 weeks. And that has caused some negative panic selling, and many traders who hold this stuff have seen their holdings drop dramatically in value, and they're just not that likely to chase stocks higher, or they may not have the capital to chase stocks higher because they can't leverage their portfolio. Now here's silver. We of course had that dramatic sell-off on the, it started on the 29th and then continued into this week. And that again, that bursting bubble makes investors pessimistic. Now here's the chart that I think is the most important. This is the chart of the Russell 2000. It is the small cap index. And I use this to determine whether I'm going to be aggressive in the market or whether I'm going to be very fussy and conservative. When this market is trending downward, you have to be a lot fussier. So through the first couple of weeks of January, you can see that the market was trending up and trading wasn't too bad. And then the last couple of weeks, we've been trending downward until Friday. And so the fact that we broke that downward trend on Friday is a sign that maybe trading is going to get better. Now I say maybe because my one issue with this is this break higher on Friday came from a new low, not from a rising bottom. And typically reversals happen after the build of a rising bottom and then a move to the upside. So we'll have to watch for that next week. And I'll do some more analysis on the markets in a moment, but these are some things to keep in mind. Remember, it's not about fundamentals when you're trading. The short-term moves in the market have very little to do with the company's story. Now, sometimes the news can be a catalyst, but mostly it's all about the psychology of traders. The buyers and sellers, are they fearful or are they greedy? In the last couple of weeks, they've been more fearful than greedy. All right, let's get into this week's market analysis. Figure out, is there potentially a broader stock market crash coming? What is the trend of the markets? And let's jump back into my website, stockscores.com, And just a reminder, I've got a free weekly email that goes out. You can register for that here. I pick stocks in it. Stocks have done pretty well over the years. Let's take a look at the chart of the S&P 500 first, SPY. And here you can see that we've generally been trending sideways for the last 3 months. We fell into support on Thursday, right here is support, and we bounced off of that Friday with that little move, but we're still stuck in this trading range, and I would say it's more or less a neutral market. Now, we can't say the same thing for the NASDAQ because the NASDAQ has sort of underperformed the large cap market, and it's broken this cycle of rising bottoms. We were building a nice pattern. This pattern is called an ascending triangle and usually comes before a breakout. Well, unfortunately, we instead broke down on Wednesday, and that is a bit of a negative signal. I think if you are in those tech stocks, Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, those big name tech stocks, they had kind of a rough week, and that may start to gather some momentum to the downside. I'm not too concerned yet, because if we look at this 3-year chart, it's not a real strong breakdown yet, but if we start to move down through this level, I think we could see more selling pressure. So I want you to be selective and cautious with your tech holdings. Let's move to that small cap market index, because I actually think this is one of the better looking markets. You can see that while the S&P has been going sideways, the small cap market has actually been trending higher. I think what's happening is we're getting a rotation away from the large cap techs, away from Nvidia and into some of those speculative lower price stocks. We've seen money flowing into energy stocks, which doesn't make a lot of sense because it's not like oil prices have gotten better. But investors are searching for some value. And when they look at Nvidia at huge multiples or some of these other tech names, they're saying, you know, it's a little too expensive. Let's move some capital into some areas that aren't so expensive. One area that I've seen is, you know, some of these smaller Canadian oil companies that pay 7-8% dividends, they've been doing really well, while the broader market, particularly tech, is lagging. So let's move along again to the next market, which is the Canadian market, and that has obviously benefited greatly from the action in gold and silver, and with the collapse in gold and silver, you see that little bit of weakness. But when we look at that 3-year weekly chart, we're still in the upward trend. We haven't built a falling top. We could break down from here, and if we build a falling top and break down, then I'm going to get somewhat negative, but for now, it's sort of a cautious bullishness to neutral type market. Let's take a look at gold, which fell to its upward trend line. We talked about this last week, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel because I do these videos every week, and you can get my updates on this stuff on a regular basis. And so, you know, it was way parabolic here. Anytime trends go parabolic, they're likely to pull back to the trend line, which we more or less did. We bounced off of that trend line. We have the potential to build a falling top and retest that trend line. If that happens, if we build a falling top and we come down through this trend line, then we're going to have to get bearish on gold. That hasn't happened yet, but it's just something to be cautious about. Silver, not quite as good a chart as gold because its linear trend line, this one right here, was broken. And we built a little falling top and then broke down. Now the longer term trend line, which I could draw like this, still offers some support down around the $55 level on the SLV. That's still some downside from where we are. So I think you want to be pretty cautious with the silver stocks. Let's move along to oil. USO is the symbol. And with tensions rising in Iran, we see the price of oil moving. But this is quite predictable, and here's why. If we look at the 3-year chart of oil, what you will see is that every time it comes into this floor, right in here, it tends to bounce. We saw it in early 2024, bounce. Middle of 2024, bounce. Early to spring of 2025, bounce. And just now, touching that line again and bouncing. But what you should also notice is that there's an upper boundary. Every time it gets to that upper boundary, we get stuck. And so there's not a lot more upside until we get stuck and likely reverse lower. So generally, you want to be a buyer of oil and oil stocks when the oil market is down here, and you don't want to get too excited about them when we're at the top of this sideways channel. All right, let's keep going here and take a look at the US dollar. We're going to look at it on the short-term chart, the 1-month chart here. And you can see that we had that pretty strong sell-off. We've bounced back. The question is, are we going to continue to move toward those highs, or do we roll over and break down from a falling top? I think we're more likely to do the latter, which means if we start to move down on UUP, if we start to move down through 2690, expect that the US dollar is going to fall into that zone. As long as it's building these little rising bottoms on the hourly chart, you can stick with that long short-term bullishness that's starting to build, but still the big picture, the 3-year weekly chart, is relatively negative. Finally, among our currencies is GBTC, and there you see the dramatic sell-off. Now you might think, oh, we should be selling Bitcoin here. I actually don't think so, and here's why. See how price has fallen away from the trend line? When that happens, that's caused by investor panic, fear, and it means that the market is oversold, and it's actually likely to bounce back up to this downward trend line. That doesn't mean it's a strong bullish move. What I'm talking about is a very short-term move. If we look at the 15-day chart, you can see that we're threatening to break this downward trend line from a rising bottom. And if it breaks through that, a 56 on GBTC, then there's a trade there. It probably rises up for a few days. Again, very short-term trade. If you're a trader, that's something to watch for next week. All right, finally, let's take a look at TLT, which is our bond market chart. And it had a little jump late in the week, but generally the trend is down. If we look at the 3-year weekly chart, you will see that generally the trend is sideways. In other words, interest rates are stable. It doesn't look like interest rates are expected to go down a lot, but it also doesn't look like they're expected to go up a lot. And so it's a fairly neutral market on the treasuries, which ultimately means the interest rates. So my ratings then, US large cap stocks, neutral in the short term, still bullish long term. NASDAQ short term bearish, but long term neutral. And then US small caps and Canadian stocks, both short term neutral, a little bit of volatility in the short term, but bullish long term as the trends are up. Gold, still neutral on both time frames because it is holding that long term upward trend line. I would say silver is more short term bearish. Oil, short-term bullish, long-term neutral. US dollar, neutral on both time frames. Bitcoin, bearish in both time frames. And bonds, neutral on both time frames. All right, let's get into this week's trade of the week. And although it was a slow week, there was still stocks to trade. And this week on Friday, we had a pretty strong mover, actually, that we found on Active Live, my service at Stockscores, where we monitor the market in real time, looking for stocks that trigger some of my algorithms which identify stocks that are getting abnormal buying interest. We can catch these very quickly because of the power of computers, which look for something I call an action candle. Action candles are these little pink and yellow dots here. They represent abnormal price movement with abnormal volume. You can see the volume coming into this stock early. And I like to buy pullback. So the stock ripped up, pulled back, and then broke the pullback right there. So I was a buyer of the stock there. It had a nice little run from 1270 to 1780, and then another pullback, break of a pullback, and another run. So this is the kind of thing that traders can take advantage of by leveraging stocks that aren't correlated to the market. Stocks that are trading abnormally with strong volume, strong price action, they're going to break free from that sort of bearish negative sentiment that we have in the broader market. They're breaking free from that because they've captured buyer interest. And using those action candle indicators can help you find those. If you want to learn more about that, go to my website, stockscores.com. Make sure you're registered for my newsletter. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Leave a comment. Do you think there is more weakness coming in gold and silver, or is it overdone? Love to hear your thoughts. As always, trade well.